I tried really, really hard to get this video out before I went on holiday, and I probably missed my first flight because I was here editing, trying to get this done, but I just couldn't do it. I wasn't satisfied with what I had, so I am back. Merry Christmas, everything that I missed, Kwanzaa and all that good shit. Sorry that I haven't made a video. I wanted to have this out before I left, but it's here I am. Hi. This is my top 10 games of 2015, because it sounds fun and I've always wanted to do something like this. Disclaimer, and even though it's obvious, I'm gonna say it anyway. I know there will be those people out there who will disagree with my list, and that is absolutely fine, because that's your opinion. Hell, if your favorite games haven't made this list, comment what they were, and maybe you'll be introducing me to a great game and I'll learn it through you. But for now, these are my top 10 games, in my opinion, that I've personally enjoyed the most this year, that I've had the chance to play. So quickly, right out the gate, Metal Gear Solid 5, Bayonetta 2, and The Witcher 3 will not be on this list. But before you pitchfork up, know that it is only because I haven't had the time to play these games yet, and if I had, I wouldn't be surprised if any or all of those games would have been on this list. So with that out of the way, here's my top 10 games of the year. I hope you enjoy it, and find a new game to play, because the Steam sale is still running, so you got some time. Number 10, Rocket League. Fun with friends, fun alone, fun to customize cars, fun to flip around like an asshole. The game is just flat out fun. Number 9, Rivals of Aether. One of the best brawlers around, although I've spent a lot of time with Brawlhalla, which definitely deserves an honorable mention. Rivals of Aether takes the spot because of how incredibly tight and responsive the controls are. All we need is a ranked queue and I'll come out of retirement. Number 8, H1Z1 Battle Royale. And I specifically say Battle Royale because if you want a survival game, you should be playing Rust. Disregarding all the controversy surrounding this game, I adore the Battle Royale game mode. It's incredibly fun, and people tend to forget sometimes that video games are, supposed to be about having fun. Number 7, Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PC. A little lower on the list than you might expect, but a fantastic game nonetheless. The online is what kept me coming back for the majority of the hours I have on GTA 5, but it got stale, and failed to hold me after a couple shoddy updates. Still a great game. Number 6, Shadow of Mordor. I had way too much fun dismantling the Uruk hierarchy from the bottom up. The fluent combat, the rune customization of your weapons, the characters you get to meet during your quest, all are done extremely well. There was never a dull moment during my time with this game. Number 5, Undertale. Again, a little lower than you might expect, but I cannot deny that Undertale was a phenomenal experience. It's just, I really don't see myself ever playing it again. Now you might argue that there's a ton of replayability with the different choices you can make, but after my first blind run of the game, which turned out to be a pacifist run, that was it for me. That's the ending I want. I don't have it in me to do a genocide run. All the characters were far too enjoyable. I don't have it in me to kill any of them. You could also argue that's why this game was so good, and I'll agree with you, but Undertale gets the number 5 spot because although I love the experience, this game loses some points personally, not being very replayable. If this was a list strictly about the best storytelling I've experienced this year, I'm sure it would be closer to the top. Number 4, Darkest Dungeon. Now I'm cheating a little bit here, because technically this game hasn't had its full release yet, which is in January. I couldn't help myself and I had to include this on the list. Because even though it's still not finished, what we have now is an absolutely brilliant dungeon crawling RPG. I love how this game looks, and I love the immersion of being in a stress-inducing deadly situation with the characters that you've been leveling up. If a character dies, they're fucking gone. So take every step forward with plenty of caution. If I do another list like this next year, expect to see this to show up again. Number 3, Bloodborne. Gorgeous atmosphere, immersive, difficult, replayable. Did I mention difficult? This game is the sole reason I had to buy a PlayStation 4, and I regret nothing. This could have easily been higher on the list, but I haven't had a chance to play the Old Hunters expansion yet. And if there's something From Software knows how to do, it's make some fucking amazing DLCs. I'm looking at you, Dark Souls 2. Bloodborne was the perfect game to fill the void in my heart left by the wait for Dark Souls 3, which will be dropping next year. Number 2, Fallout 4. 60 hours deep into this game and I have barely scratched the surface. Honestly, the weakest part of the game so far with my experience is the main storyline. Without spoiling anything, I just wasn't super attached to the main story. I've enjoyed just being a wasteland wanderer and experiencing the world, which has been fantastic. And if you manage to get bored, you can console command shit like this. Number 1. This can't be a huge surprise if you're a regular on my stream. My number 1 game of 2015 is The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Again, sort of cheating here because the base game Rebirth came out in 2014, but Afterbirth added so much that I couldn't resist having it on my list. Between the 2 games, including expansions, I have over 1,000 hours on the Binding of Isaac franchise. Over 1,000 hours on 2 games that combined cost roughly $30. And that's assuming you bought everything right now and not when it was on sale. The replayability is undeniable. So many different item combinations and things to do, different characters to play, challenges to overcome, and most importantly, poop to shoot. Several of the games on this list were difficult to place because I enjoyed them just about equally the same, but I knew going into writing this list from the very beginning that Afterbirth would be my number 1 game of the year. Hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you haven't heard of some of these games or needed that extra push to convince you to pick one of them up. If your favorite game wasn't included, let me know in the comments and why. Also, let me know if you like this video format. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while now, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I'll be back for January, guns a-blazing, and ready for 2016. Hope you have a wonderful holiday, and I'll see you next time.